My name is Nathan Fitzgerald. I am the youth pastor and young adult pastor at Zephyr Alliance Church. And I have the privilege tonight of giving the charge to Andrew. It's kind of a great privilege for me. Alfredo called me while I was on vacation. He's like, hey, could you do this? And I was like, sure, why not? And the reason why it's such a great privilege is it seems like quite a while ago for me, but it actually wasn't too long ago for myself that I had this take place in my life. My wife and I moved from Virginia down to Florida, and I became the youth pastor about 2.5 years ago at Zephyr Alliance Church. The other reason why it's kind of special for me is because in many ways I remember Andrew. Andrew and I, along with my wife, went to Tacoma Falls College. And my memory of Andrew is the nice security guard. Andrew was the security guard that when I got caught after curfew, I was glad that it was Andrew and not anyone else. Andrew was nice. Some of the other guys weren't as nice. And so, Andrew was a great guy. I remember from college, him working hard to support his family, but at the same time, going to school. And so tonight, with that in mind, I kind of want to share with you a few thoughts that I have. It's in the passage or the verse that I want us to look at tonight is in Ephesians 2. And it's only one verse, and it's verse 10, and it says this: "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do good things He has planned for us long ago." For me, I love this verse. As I have studied the Bible, I came across this verse, and it was really special to me, mainly because I love how there's this one word that kind of sticks out to me, and it's the word masterpiece. In other translations, you hear the word handiwork or the word workmanship. And the reason why I love that word so much and why I love this verse so much is when I think of those words, it says this: we are His masterpiece. And as I think of the word masterpiece, I think of the word workmanship. I'm reminded of my father. My dad likes to work with wood a lot. And for my dad, woodworking is his masterpiece. It's his handiwork. It's what is workmanship. It's what he loves to do. And my dad is pretty intense when he works with wood. I've seen my dad create furniture to the point that it's almost done, and then he makes one mistake, and then he'll throw it away, and he'll start all over again. My dad puts a lot of effort in his work. And what I love about this is when he finishes a piece of work, he's made many pieces of furniture for my wife and I, and then when he finishes it, in many ways he puts it out on display and says, this is my masterpiece. I fussed over this. I worked on this for hours. I cared about this. I put my everything in this piece that I've made. And as I think about that, and I think about this verse, and I think about what Paul is telling us in this verse, he's saying that we are God's masterpiece. I'm reminded of in Genesis where it says, where God, when God created heavens and the earth, and he said, "Let there be light." And Louis Giglio oftentimes equates it to literally God opened His mouth and said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And He did that, and how amazing that is. But the thing that drives me kind of even crazy when you really boil it down to what actually happened. He does all that, but He takes the time to come down and create us and breathe life into us. And at that very moment, we are His masterpiece. He sees that we're perfect. He sees that we're wonderful. But what I love also about this verse is it says this: we are God's masterpiece. He's created us anew in Christ Jesus. However good God, we thought we are, however good we think we aren't as good as when we are with Christ in us. And the thing is what I love about this verse is it's a good reminder, because we are God's masterpiece. We are created anew in Christ Jesus. But what it also ends up saying in this verse is it says this: we can do good things that He has planned for us long ago. And as I read that verse, I thought of my dad. I thought about how much he frets and thinks and works and is meticulous about how he does his woodworking. And I pictured that with God. And I picture that in us, when God works on us and He makes us a masterpiece. He works and he He changes things, and He fixes us. And when Jesus comes into our life, He works on us even more, and He changes us, and He fixes us. Why? Because He has a plan for us. And with that in mind, what I want to say to you, Andrew, is this. You are God's masterpiece. Like everyone else in this room, but Andrew, you are God's masterpiece. He made you specifically to do this job. He allowed life experiences to take place in your life and in your family's life to grow you, to shape you. I've heard some of the testimony of what you have been doing in Ohio and just how you've experienced those things and what you've grown in, and it's amazing, and God's going to use those things. Andrew, God has called you to Florida. My wife and I laugh about this because He's called you to hot, humid Florida where there's lots of tourists, and you're no longer a tourist anymore. Andrew, God has called you specifically not just to Florida, He's called you to Lakeland, Florida. And by God calling you to Lakeland, Florida, He's called you to this church. And there's groups of people in this congregation that met together and prayed, is this the right God? And they said yes, because you're here. So Andrew, you are God's masterpiece. You have been created, and there's a plan that God had originally for you. And you've gone through things, you've learned things, and you'll continue to learn things. But just understand, for whatever you face, God is there with you, teaching you, growing you. And you can use the things that you've been already taught to do more. And what I love about that, it's a good reminder. Because sometimes we can become lost. Sometimes we can become lost. Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? God, is this really where I'm supposed to be? And last thing that I want to say is one thing that I remember being told by a very wise person was go back to your original call, the call that was clearest in your life, and focus on that when things get muddy. So Andrew, that is my charge for what it is. I love you as a brother in Christ, and I can't wait to see what God has to do for you and your family here in this church. I'm so excited that you've come down from the north to be with us in Florida. And also what's really neat is you're actually quite close to where we live, so I'm glad that you're here.